Good morning, you're watching Morning Headlines. I'm Aziff and it's the 4th of June. Now we start the Putusan today by talking about, there you have it, the Health Ministry has finally come out to say, sorry, it's our bad. So apparently this whole halal and haram debacle between the supposed pork DNA found in Cadbury chocolate, has been a fault on their part. I particularly like yesterday's Utusan issue where they made a comparison between JAKIM and the Health Ministry. So, Health Ministry is wrong here and they admitted it. Good for them. Sinar Harian touches on the same story on the front pages. Tiada unsur sabotage. So there is no sabotage attempt by anyone within the ministry or JAKIM with regarding to dealing with Cadbury, right? So the main question here is whether or not Cadbury will press charges for damages, because it has been a week since Cadbury has gone off the shelves. There's a lot of profit they have lost. Will Cadbury go on to sue? No idea, but we'll find out pretty soon, I hope. But on other news, we have The Sun, which comes up with a story here about new housing rules. So now developers who are selling more than 4 housing units to a customer has to register themselves with a certain agreement. But apart from that, I think the more interesting thing about this report is that they're talking about developers will be held accountable to projects they abandon. So developers who abandon projects will be blacklisted. But not only that, to apply for new projects, now you need a larger financial pool, you need to be more stable. And I think it's a good move because if you go drive around, sometimes you can see abandoned projects which become dangerous not only for the community but for health reasons as well, right? Now, apart from a housing loan story, I think what's interesting inside The Sun today is, of course, the story of Malaysia Kini being sued by our Prime Minister Najib. Now, what's interesting here is that Malaysia Kini, of course, has this one column called Your Says, which compiles the best comments from their readers, right, and turns it into one single article. But what's most interesting is that the PM is suing over the comments, but looking at Malaysia Kini as a conduit for these comments, right? But I think what we can take away from here is that, is this a crackdown onto online portals? And will Malaysia Kini hold up? No idea. But on other stories, we have Malay Mail, which is talking about stadiums. So Khairy Jamaluddin, our sports and youth minister, has come out to say that no more cash is going to be put into building new stadiums. In fact, let's just move the cash into upgrading current ones, because especially after Sukma, there was the collapse of a roof, there was leakages found in different stadiums around in Perlis, especially following the Terengganu stadium collapse a few years back, right? So it's a good move now. We're actually putting money into where it's needed, into upgrading current infrastructure as opposed to building new ones and having more problems. So I hope contractors are going to, be more accountable for what they build from now on, right? But on to the Star. The Star talks about changes and reshuffling in the cabinet. So there's not much being said here because Najib is being tight-lipped over the issue. But we're expected to see MCA and Gerakan being revived in the cabinet. But I think what's most interesting is that if you flip onto the inside pages, Jocelyn Tan has, as usual, an analysis of what the future may hold for our future cabinet. And I hope it's a good thing because, well, we're in dire need of reshuffling, quite honestly. I'm going to go double here. NST and Berita Harian runs the same front page. Now they're talking about the same story. It's the spotlight on tinting, and Berita Harian runs the story of boleh guna cermin lagi gelap. So basically these two are running the same story about the car tint, which has been an issue about a few weeks back, right? So basically now the Transport Ministry is saying that yes, you can have darker tinted glasses, but only towards the back. And this is in concern taking into account that women who drive alone need a sort of safety. So maybe the tinted glasses may help with women being more safe on the roads, right? I'm not sure how they will help in entirety, but I think it's a good move because a lot of people inside, if you see, are agreeing to this recommendation. But onto our final dish of the day, our favourite Harian Metro runs a plethora of stories. There we have the invasion of moths in Kuantan. It reminds me a bit of Alfred Hitchcock's Birds, if you ask me. You have Kuasa Ailio, a con man who calls himself a dato. Two celebrities I don't really care about. But I think what's most interesting is that if you flip over to Harian Metro today, they have a very interesting story on how the Tamil Tigers are being funded. So, well, is somebody starting a Kickstarter here? No idea, but it is a good report and you should read it. For once, Harian Metro is worth reading, only for this story, mind you. But that's all I have for you for this morning headlines. And my word of the day today is funding. Are we funding? Are we moving our money into the right channels? Are we moving it into stadiums which should not be built? Are we moving it into insurgencies and terrorists? But that's all I have for you for this morning headlines. I'm Aziff for BFM 89.9.